Pete Ricketts has declared June as Dairy Month. And as celebrations continue, the University of Nebraska is releasing a new study examining the potential economic impact of growing dairy processing within the Husker state. Well, Associate Professor of Economics, Dr. Thompson, joins us now for a breakdown. And Dr. Thompson, we certainly appreciate your time here this morning. If you would, give us a snapshot of this study and, of course, the main objective.
The objective of the study was to look at how the state's economy would grow in reaction to attracting a new dairy processor to the state, such as a cheese plant or a butter plant.
What would be some of the multiple benefits of expanding the dairy processing and attracting those folks into the state?
Well, expanding a plant would also, bringing a processing plant in the state would also help expand the number of dairies in the state, either through expanding existing dairies or bringing additional dairies to the state. This would have significant potential for job creation in Nebraska, and that was the objective of our study, to estimate that job creation. Depending on the specifics, it could be hundreds of jobs up to several thousand new jobs for the state.
Dr. Thompson, what would be maybe a hurdle or two that you guys might have going through this process?
Well, this is a significant expansion of an entire supply chain. So it'd be a challenge for economic developers and producers to bring in a whole supply chain, a large processor, but also ramping up or bringing in new dairies as well. That would be a challenging thing to do for economic developers, but it would also yield big rewards in terms of employment and economic growth.
So what would you say is the main takeaway from your findings that potential dairy producers and also local communities need to know?
Well, I think an important finding is that we looked at three cases: Grand Island, Norfolk, and South Sioux City as potential locations for a new dairy processor. And what we found is, regardless of those three locations, there'd be a significant economic impact on our state. It would be largest for a butter producer, a little bit more modest, but still significant for a fluid milk producer or a yogurt producer, but significant economic impacts in any of those locations. And I think what it also means is that, we studied those three locations, but I think there could be other locations in the state that could benefit from an expansion of this industry. The crop output of Nebraska is constantly growing. We need new ways to process that crop output in value-added agriculture. And the report talked about some of the benefits if we were able to do that through expanding our dairy industry.
All right. Well, Professor, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it. UNL Associate Professor of Economics, Dr. Thompson, of course, connecting with us today from the Husker State.